Hello and welcome to Humane Transport Project Progress Vlog 4. Humane Transport is a mobile application for Canadian animal transporters. It allows these transporters to digitally record animal transport records over the current process of manual and paper records. Our team is still following the Agile Scrum framework. My name is Kelly. I am the Scrum Master and also a development team member. With me today is also Sana Khan, Mansi Patel, and Clark Inokala, all three of which are also members of the development team, and Sana continues to be our Scrum product owner. Since our last progress vlog, we've actually had 3 separate sprints, sprint 4, 5, and 6. In sprint 4, we completed some more system design. In sprint 5, we completed some experimental design. This is us actually implementing and making a mobile application that people can use. In sprint 6, which is completing on February 8th, we've continued working on our database for our application, modifying our interface prototypes as per some feedback we've received, and implementing our first rendition of animal transport records. So this would be our first MVP for those interested. Today, our team will be talking about the progress we've made in sprint 6 specifically. For the project right now, our status is green. We're actually on track. We've planned out sprints for 7, 8, and 9 already with the ideas of some overlap between these sprints. The only possible delays we expect right now would be that we're continuing to experience some delay with transporter feedback due to the environment we find ourselves in. And we're also a bit slow to build our database structure. Each member of the team is starting to become a little more familiar with it, and so we've expected this work to continue from sprint 6 and into sprint 7. At this time, we've not encountered any issues that'll stop development, and there haven't been any major changes to any design, despite the feedback we've received from both our team instructor and from our client. I'll be passing along the rest of this vlog to my teammates who will discuss the work that they've done in sprint 6, and you will hear from me again.
For this sprint, my main focus is the following. First is to refactor our architecture such that it follows the best practices, like the separating the user interface or business logic. The architecture we decided to use is model view model or MVVM architecture. I don't really want to go in depth right now, but I show in the diagram the UI screen listens to changes and events. The models don't know anything about how the UI looks and or how it works. The business logic also, or the view model, interacts with an abstract authentication service, and for that I use dependency injection to completely decouple our services from the rest of the application. My next job is I also, part of our experimental phase, we decided to explore 2 types of databases. One is SQL and NoSQL. My job is to explore the NoSQL, which is the Firestore. To test the Firestore database, I created an object for the user and the screen that handles that user's object, like the login screen or the sign-in screen. And finally, the data service that will communicate to the Firestore. Next is the navigation interface. We do know that navigation is an integral part of the application, so I set up a navigation structure and created an interface out of it. For the navigation, I explored 2 ways of implementing it. As you can see here, this is the bottom navigation bar, and on the right side is the side navigation bar.
All right, so we have our first draft of database interface prepared, focusing on SQL. And right now, all it does is either save stuff locally or remotely, depending on the network availability. So in case of no internet, all it does it transfers stuff to local database class, and it allows us to save stuff locally. And in case of internet, it goes ahead and saves stuff remotely. But in case if we decided to choose another NoSQL database provider like Firestore, which we are considering, due to its advanced features, it does not mean that we'll have to start the database interface from scratch. We can just write over the one that we have right now, because the functional structure will remain the same. All we need to do is change the queries for Firestore, and it will be good to go. All the plugins like connectivity that we are using to check if there is network available or not will also remain the same. And there's no need. Basically, our structure for database interface is completed. All we need to do once we decided which database we are going for, set up the queries, and it will be done.
Okay. In the sprint 6, I have worked on PDF generator feature, and my colleague Sana has worked on how to share that PDF file via email using this app. So of course, with these features, the transporter can generate PDF file out of ATR data and can able to send PDF file via email. So let's look at the demo of these features. So here I have clicked on the travel history page, and then I have generated the PDF file and now sending this file to my email address. So entering my email address here in this email form, then entering the email subject and entering the message that you want to send with this file. So after submitting this form, the app will launch the email app from your device. So you can see here that I have attached the generated PDF file, and I have sent this file to my email address. So here is our uh, PDF generator and sharing feature. Now I have also worked on upload image feature. With this feature, the transporter can able to upload that profile picture, and also they can able to capture image and upload it into the ATR form. For example, if transporter wants to upload any image for investigation purposes for the incidents that can happen during traveling, so they can do that, and they can attach that image to the ATR form. And so let's look at the demo of this feature. So here I'm clicking on the camera icon and uploading the image from the photo library. You have to give the permission to use the app. So uploading the profile picture here, and also you can uh, you can also take a you can also capture the image using the camera app from your device. So here the camera is not available in the simulator, so that is why you are seeing this error, but in actual app it works really fine. So now moving to the next slide. We have decided to refactor our mid-files into high-files based on the feedbacks we received from the users. Um, Based on some feedbacks, I have added some comments like, if you click on this feature, this will happen in actual app, stuff like that. Because in the prototypes, some of the features are not clickable. So to just guide our transporter when they testing this GUI prototypes, I have added some comments. Um, Also, we will refactor our design one more time once we receive the feedback from the transporter. They are the actual users of our app.
And this brings us to our first MVP work for this sprint. This sprint, I've been working on the animal transport record history screen. This is a screen that allows transporters to preview past records that they've saved. Once these records have been saved into the system, they can never be changed once again. Alongside the history screen, we'll also be having work on the in progress screen, which is again very similar and showing previews. Eventually, both these screens will allow search functionality and also the ability to email records. Additionally, I've been working on some system tests this sprint. Our system tests, you'll find them to be fully automated. We can run them with or without a phone. And on our GitHub wiki, we've actually written down our full set of system test procedures that we'll expect to write. This particular test that I'll be showing in a moment here will demonstrate that the history screen previews a record after a certain amount of time. So as we can see, the system test is actually quite fast. That blank time at the beginning is usually not there for the normal operation of the application. This blank time, which I'll play again, is a result of our system testing structure, which is not under our control. However, these integration tests that are run with a phone, if we run them without the like the visual environment, they're actually quite fast and they work very well for us as a continuous development and continuous integration tool.
All right, so for our website, we noticed that there was information that was missing from our website, including our current experimentation code, client server architecture, drawings. So we added a couple of links to our experimentation code, so our client can also visit our code from there. And we also decided to provide information on Flutter, why we are choosing it and why it's good for our application, links to client server architecture, links to upcoming due dates that are important so our client knows when to look up for things. Another thing that we worked on include app icon. So just to give our application more professional look, we decided to adopt and make our own app icon. As you can see in the corner, it's kind of still under progress, but it does not mean that we have a lot of work to do. Once we decide our color palettes, we'll go ahead and implement those changes and modify it a bit, and our application icon is basically done.
And with that, I'll talk about our Sprint 7 outlook. Our next sprint starts on February 8th, the same day that our Sprint 6 ends. Our next sprint will consist of completing any leftover ATR screen work, this being the editing screen and perhaps the new screen. We'll also be completing ATR features such as search, email, and PDF functionality. We'll also complete the ATR and database integration. With this, we'll also be able to write our system tests that we have left over. And we'll also be completing transporter account and database integration. This will allow transporters to sign in, make records, and then save and retrieve them later. This encompasses the main functionality of our application.
All right, so for the group reflection, does the team feel on track?
Yeah, as per our previous slide, we've stated our status is green. We're pretty on track with what we're doing as per this sprint and the next sprint. Of course, we don't know what the future holds just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. Compared to our previous sprints, we definitely did more. We accomplished more tasks. which
Yeah.
is
Yes, I
Agree.
feel the same.
Yeah. So what progress does the team particularly feel good about?
I would say the thing that we are working on front end and the back end at the same time. I think this is a very good idea to work on a project, and I think this is a very good thing.
Yeah, I agree. So what barriers does the team feel is a current impediment to success?
The only things that really stop us or are making us slow is the transporter feedback, which is sort of due to slow business because of COVID. And then the other thing was that the database is quite a large part of our system, and there's a lot of work
Mm-hmm.
there to do. So
Yeah.
it's moving, but it's moving a little slow.
Yeah. Since we are also just experimenting with the database right now, so we are still in learning stage. So I feel like that's the part that's slowing us. But once we know what to do, we'll be good.
yeah.
Yes, I agree.
All right. So what help does the team require to move positively forward?
I think
Uh,
at this time from the professors, we've been asking like our two mentors, Tim and Kareem, for feedback as we've been going along, and they've not given us anything that we haven't found useful. And so I think we don't require them to move forward, but we really do enjoy the advice they give us and the suggestions they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So are there any other questions or concerns?
My only concern as Scrum Master is that we could slow down quite a bit, given that it's almost the middle of the semester already. But we have sort of factored our future sprints up to 9 with the idea that some of them may be longer than 2 weeks. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we're mitigating or we're doing the best we can with our planning right now.